Hello students, welcome to Epitome IAS. This is Reddy. We are discussing about MAINS answer writing program, and we are trying to understand the very nuances of answer writing, because we need to bring a lot of hidden content, okay, because question might be simple in its general appearance, but it will be having many minutes to be shared. Okay, we need to write a proper dimension, proper perspective in the answer writing. Okay, so let us understand how to write a better answer, because this question appears to be so general, right? For example, this question has been asked in the 2024 mains paper general studies. What is that question is? Analyze the role of local bodies in providing good governance at local level and bring out pros and cons of merging the local bodies with the urban local bodies. Right. So how UPSC could ask this question? UPSC asked this question because we need to understand the concept of decentralization and its importance in the present day's administration and present day's governance. Particularly after the liberalization, privatization and globalization, the very paradigm of governance has changed in the country, where the country is more promoting decentralization, principle of subsidiarity, and also empowerment of the local people, grassroots level people. Okay, so let us understand all those issues. Okay, first of all, the question, if you try to read, analyze the role of local bodies in providing good governance at local level and bring out pros and cons of merging local bodies with urban local bodies. So there is a trend of merger of rural local bodies with urban local bodies. Why there is such merger? Okay, because this is a current topic, current issue in the Indian administration, which is impacting crores of people in the country. So whether this merger is right or wrong, why the merger is taking place, all these issues must be written in the answer. Okay, right. So before we enter into the very aspect of writing answer, so let us understand a broader picture, okay, that we can understand is, first of all, what are local bodies? Okay, what are the local bodies? Okay, local bodies are those agencies which work at the grassroots level. Okay, and where they are very much closer to the people. They are very much closer to the people. They are very much closer to the people. Okay, and accessible to the people. They are formed by the people. Formed in the sense elected by the people. Okay, they will be answerable to the people. They will be answerable to the people. Okay, so they generally share these characteristic features. Okay, and because of this nature, and they are also having certain powers to perform with respect to the people at the lower level, the people at the grassroots level, because they will be performing such functions which are clearly local in character. Local in character, like sanitation, controlling the local trade and business, markets, plantation. So whatever that is required for the day-to-day existence of the individual, the basic amenities are provided by the local bodies. Okay, and these local bodies have been recognized constitutionally by 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, right? Particularly if you try to see after LPG, because you understand generally the Panchayat Raj institutions and urban local bodies are generally considered as a part of polity, but generally they are having more implications in the governance. UPSC quite often integrating the local bodies functioning and effectiveness with the principles of the governance. That's why you just look at this question, analyze the role of local bodies in providing good governance. Okay, so that's why I usually teach in the classrooms the local bodies in the perspective of the governance, in the perspective of good governance only. We cannot treat completely isolated topic from the governance. Okay, right. So this is how the local bodies are generally established. 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act established rural local bodies. Okay, and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act has established urban local bodies. Okay, RLBs and ULBs, right. And constitution, I mean the constitution amendment also try to address the integration of these rural local bodies and urban local bodies with respect to planning. Okay, that aspect has been addressed by Metropolitan Planning Committee and District Planning Committee, DPC and MPC. Okay, right? Did you understand? So 243 ZD and 243 ZE. ZD and 243 ZE. So these are the institutions which are to be established by the concerned state governments, okay, as per these provisions of the constitution, in order to ensure better coordination of function between rural local bodies and urban local bodies, especially in terms of planning. Okay, so this is what the larger picture we can understand. Okay, so this is the major aspect one has to know before one attempts to write this particular answer to this question, right? So in this context, let us understand, analyze the role of local bodies in providing good governance at local and local level. Okay, so first of all, what we need to write? Introduction. Okay, so how do we write in the introduction? Writing introduction is very much important. Okay, right. So the introduction must be apt to the nature of the question. So analyze the role of local bodies in providing good governance at local level and bring out pros and cons of merger with the urban local bodies, right? So in the introduction, we need to write the essence of this particular local bodies. Okay, local bodies are the grassroots governments. They are the grassroots governments. Okay, we can say local self governments which are established as per part 9 and part 9b of constitution to address to govern the matters of local in importance, thus helping the services are accessible within the reach of the people. Okay, this is what the introduction should be. Okay, right. So particularly how the local bodies will help in good governance. Okay, so role of local bodies in good governance. Here we need to understand, we need to write this dimension. Local bodies can help in operationalization of good governance. Okay, in decentralized manner. Okay, right. So local bodies help in operationalization of good governance principles. Okay, so the question is, analyze the role of local bodies in providing good governance. So we need to write that dimension here, how they help in operationalization of the good governance, right? So then what is good governance, right? We need to understand good governance is nothing but people-centric governance. Okay, the good governance which promote participation, the governance which promotes administration or delivery of services on the basis of consensus. Okay, so that is how we need to write those dimensions. Okay, the local bodies help in operationalization of good governance in the form of the following aspects. Okay, right. First, what we need to write? Right. The local bodies will operational, will try to address the basic and fundamental issues related to standard of life. Okay, standard of life. For example, what does it provide? In the form of sanitation, health, plantation, and also market and plantation, of course, water supply. Okay, and plantation, we have written plantation. Okay, regulation of trade and market. Okay, so by this local markets, by this way they will address the basic issues of the standard of life, because without which you cannot imagine the people will be having the basic standard of life. Then what else you write? Okay, we will also write other points, like for example, they can help the people, in addressing the problems in decentralized manner, since the planning process involves the participation of people in the form of Grama Sabha and ward committees. Okay, so where the participation of the people is possible. When the people participate, definitely effective solutions are possible. That's why that will be addressing the problems of people in the decentralized manner. Right. Next, they can implement the schemes and programs in the most inclusive way. Because of the consensus building. Right. Next, they promote transparency. Because of the social audit conducted for certain programs and schemes. Right. Example, MG Narega. Okay. They are the platforms which promote equity and inclusiveness. Since the public representatives, since the reservation policy, the reservations are implemented for SCs, STs and women. Particularly BC reservation is falling under the domain of the states, but generally the constitution has guaranteed SC, ST women reservation, right? Right. So not only that, since they are accessible to the people, they will be able to be responsive to the people, responsive. That means they will be more proactive, okay, in addressing the issues of the people. So they are very much quick in addressing the issues or giving the solutions for the problems, okay. So like this, the local bodies are actually promoting good governance, because we have discussed all these principles are pertaining to good governance only. Responsiveness is good governance, okay. So being responsiveness is good governance, okay. Equity and inclusiveness is good governance, okay. Similarly, we can also see social audit accountability is good governance, consensus building is good governance, and not only that, okay, decentralization is good governance. Similarly, we can also understand providing the basic standard of life is also part of good governance, right. So you are trying to promote the services in the citizen centric manner. What is it? Citizen centric manner, right. So this is how the local bodies are promoting good governance. So in other words, the local bodies will operationalize the principle of subsidiarity, in ensuring the services are provided in the citizen centric manner. Okay. So there is participation, inclusiveness, everything is happening in a proper way. Responsiveness, transparency, consensus building, accountability, okay. So responsiveness, these are all the features of citizen centric governance. What is it? Citizen centric governance. So this is how we can write the role of local bodies, okay. Now what is the other aspect of the question? The other aspect of the question is, what are the pros and cons of merging local bodies with urban local bodies, okay. So what we need to write here, okay, what are the aspects we need to emphasize here, right. So we need to recognize certain aspects, okay. So directly we should not write answer, we need to provide a context here. What is that context? In the present times, okay, there is a trend of rapid urbanization, where the urban areas are fast spreading. So we can say it's an urban sprawl, okay, and leading to the formation of urban agglomerations. So by merging with the rural areas. Thus the urban areas are coming close contact with the neighborhood rural areas, rural areas. Okay. Thus, hence the character of rural areas are changed into semi-urban character. Semi-urban character. Semi-urban character. Okay. In this context, what is the policy response of the government? Okay. In this context, the policy response of the government is that the policy response of the government is that merging the rural areas with the urban areas. Okay. Why such merger is important? Okay. What are the advantages of such merger? The question is particularly asking this particular matter. Okay. What are the pros of the urban area? What is the merger of urban and rural areas? What are the pros? So here, pros of such merger. The pros of such merger. Okay. So first and foremost important aspect is the pros of such merger is first one. A. It will help in holistic planning process. Holistic planning. Because when the urban areas and rural areas, basically when they are very much nearby, definitely, okay, because the rural areas start getting or start exposed to the challenges of urbanization. Okay. What are the challenges of urbanization? Like for example, demographic changes, okay, dense settlements, housing projects, industrial hubs. Okay, these will all start coming. Okay, right. So this trend is observed all across the country. Okay, demographic changes are coming, dense settlements started established there, housing projects, industrial hubs, etc. So naturally, there is a requirement of addressing all these things. Okay, so these are addressed when there is merger. This merger leads to better planning process. Okay, because these aspects can be taken into consideration, and the city will be planned including the rural areas, Their concerns can also be addressed by effective planning. Okay, for example, establishment of new city or establishment, that is nothing but expansion of the existing model of the city. Okay, such things. Not only that, other issues, for example, the urban agglomeration can expose the rural areas in changed patterns of professions, living standards, etc., which cannot be catered by the existing system of local body, that is rural local body cannot address these issues, right? So the new living standards that are required by the people at the fringes of the city, they cannot be satisfied by they cannot be provided by the existing local body. Hence, the merger is correct. Okay, so this is what the pro, right? Similarly, okay, the overall changed character of rural areas beside the or adjoining to the or adjacent to the urban areas may require new schemes and policies. Right? For example, MG Narega is not suitable to such area. Okay, so like this we can understand, right? Next, the rural areas may experience faster development of infrastructure due to merger with urban local bodies or merger with urban areas, because the resource base of urban local bodies is comparatively high. Okay, right. Not only that, the merger will support the existing understanding of development, that is PURA. What is it? Provision of urban amenities in rural areas. This idea will also be addressed when rural local bodies are joined with the urban local bodies, okay, or merged with the urban local bodies, right? Not only that, the urbanization or the spillovers of a city will be there on the adjacent rural population. So, hence, the representation of people is essential in urban local bodies bodies to understand and address such issues effectively. So this is how we can write, okay. And furthermore, the merger of rural local bodies with urban local bodies can help the viability of modern transport solutions, like metro, okay, and monorail, etc. Okay, so such kind of issues can be better addressed. Okay, right. So that's how we are able to plan the city in a holistic manner. Okay, so the merger would also facilitate the holistic planning of urbanization, minimizing the scope for slum development. Okay, so this is how we can understand the pros of the merger of urban local bodies and rural local bodies. Okay, but however it has certain cons. There are cons. What are the problems? What are the problems that you can face when such kind of merger is there? Okay, right. First one, increased tax burden. Right. So where new types of taxes may burden the rural population, leading to discontent. Not only that, there will be a threat to the local autonomy. That means instead of decentralization, it promotes further centralization, because till that point of time the solutions are there in the hands of the local communities only in the form of gram panchayat. Such character is lost. Okay, next, third one, it may seriously affect the existing schemes implemented in the context of rural character. Okay, what is that example? MG Narega. Example, MG Narega will be discontinued. Right? And not only that, the farmers may be at disadvantage because of the potential changes in the nature of their land holdings, such as agricultural land may be converted into commercial land. So this may increase the registration charges, and it will be bringing the land under the complex regulatory process. So this is how we can understand. And moreover, when rural local bodies are merged, its rural character and identity will be lost. But people continue to possess the rural mindset. Thus alienating, thus promoting alienation, alienation of locals. Okay. Next, sixth one, the representative character of urban local bodies may not be as inclusive as rural local bodies. Example, the rural local bodies will be having very strong inclusivity in the form of Grama Sabha and wards. Okay, within the same village there are different wards and Grama Sabha, okay, and many representatives. All these are representatives are replaced by single representative called as councillor or corporator. Okay, this kind of changes will be possible. So that is how we can discuss the pros and cons. Okay, then we need to write solution. Okay, so that is nothing but what the conclusion or way forward. So what could be the potential way forward? Okay, so in the context of fast urbanization or rapid urbanization, you can say rapid urbanization. Okay, the merger of rural local bodies with urban local bodies is becoming indispensable. Okay, to promote sustainable urbanization. But it also has challenges to resolve. It also has challenges to resolve. So what method you can suggest to address these challenges? Not following one size fits all approach by exploring the utility of MPC, Metropolitan Planning Committee. Okay, Article 243 ZE. So this will promote better planning process. Okay, not only that, there are certain approaches such as, for example, notified area committee. Wherever there is a fast urbanization, you can go with this. Okay, and in the case of inevitability of merger, we need to promote better consultation and participation of such rural people in better planning of urbanization. Okay, so this is how we need to understand the perspective of the question. I think you are able to understand. So how we have written the answer. Okay, so probably it is one of the very lengthy answers. Okay, right. So the question here is, look at this question once again. Okay, if you try to look at the essence of the question, right, analyze the role of local bodies in promoting or providing good governance at local level and bring out pros and cons of merging local bodies with urban local bodies. Look at this. Local bodies are grassroots level organizations established under Part 9 and Part 9, non-9A, Part 9 and Part 9A of Constitution to govern the matters of local importance, thus helping the services are accessible within the reach of the people in a decentralized manner. Local bodies can help in operationalization of good governance in the form of following aspects. Local bodies will try to address the basic fundamental issues related to the standard of life in the form of sanitation, health, sanitation, water supply and regulation of trade. Okay, they can help people in addressing problems in the decentralized manner, since the planning process involves participation of people in the form of Grama Sabha and Ward Committee. They can implement the schemes and programs in the most inclusive way because of the consensus building. These are all part of the World Bank provided principles of good governance. Okay, they promote transparency because of the social audit conducted for certain programs and schemes. Example, MG Narega. They are platforms which promote equity and inclusiveness, since reservation is implemented for SC, SCs and STs as well as women. Since they are accessible to the people, they will also be responsive. And the local bodies will operationalize the principle of subsidiarity. Okay, and in providing the services, okay, subsidiarity, ensuring that services are provided in the citizen-centric manner. Okay, so in the present times, there is a trend of rapid urbanization where urban local bodies are fast spreading, leading to the formation of urban agglomerations. Thus, the urban areas are coming close contact with the neighborhood rural areas. So the character of the rural areas are changed into semi-urban character. So in this context, the policy response of the government is that merging rural areas with the urban local bodies. So what are the pros of such merger? First one is, it will help in a holistic planning, because the rural areas start experiencing the challenges of urbanization, demographic changes, dense settlement, housing projects, industrial corridors, etc. These are addressed by means of merger through the better planning. Urban agglomeration can expose the rural areas in changed patterns of professions, living standards, etc., which cannot be catered by the existing system of bureaucracy at the local level. Okay. The overall change the character of the rural areas adjacent to the urban areas may require new schemes and policies. For example, MJ Narega is not suitable for such area. The rural areas may experience faster development of infrastructure due to the merger with the urban local bodies, because the resource base of the urban local bodies is comparatively high. The merger will support the existing understanding of development, that is what PURA. And you can also write sustainable development goals also. You can write what are the aspects of SDG that can be satisfied. And the urbanization or spillovers of city will be there adjacent on the adjacent rural population. Hence, the representation of people is essentially in urban local bodies to understand and address such issues effectively. Okay. The merger of rural local bodies and urban local bodies can help in the viability of most modern transportation solutions like metro. Right. The merger will also facilitate the holistic planning of urbanization and and minimizing the scope for the slum development. However, there are certain cons. Okay, the question is asking both pros and cons. Okay, so there will be threat to local level autonomy. Right? Instead of decentralization, it is promoting centralization, because when rural local bodies are merged into urban local bodies, definitely the centralized character will be lost. Right? MG will be, and moreover, so what we also tell is there will be threat to local level autonomy, and instead of decentralization, it promotes centralization. It may seriously affect the existing schemes implemented in the context of the rural character. MG will be discontinued. The farmers may be at the disadvantage because of the potential changes in the nature of land holding, where the agricultural land holding may be converted into commercial land, and that may be increasing the tax burden or regulatory burden. When rural local bodies are merged, its rural character and identity will be lost, but people continue to possess the rural mindset, thus promoting alienation of the locals. And the representative character of the urban local bodies may not be inclusive. For example, rural local bodies were having autonomous institutions and inclusive representation, but all these institutions are replaced by one particular person called as councillor. In the context of rapid urbanization, the merger of rural local bodies with urban local bodies is being indispensable to promote sustainable development, but it also has challenges to resolve. Okay, so that's why this can be addressed through following one size fits all approach, by exploring the utility of MPC, Metropolitan Planning Committee, and there must be some existing policy options to be utilized, like notified area committee or such kind of urban local institutions can be established in the villages, so that merger can be prevented. In case of inevitability, suppose in case you cannot help without merger, definitely we need to promote better consultation and participation of people of rural areas for the better planning of urbanization. So this is how we can write the answer. And it can also uphold, the merger will also uphold better policing, because rural areas are joined with urban areas, the policing will also be improved. For example, the fringes of Hyderabad city, when they are merged with the Hyderabad, what will happen? They will come under the commissionerate. Okay, and the challenges that are coming with urbanization can be effectively tackled with the commissionerate system. Okay, so this is how we can write the answer. Okay, please do comment in the comment box any queries you have, and please comment your feedback also, what you think about the answer, where the improvements are required. Okay, so because answer writing is a subjective process. Okay, so sometimes we may not be able to write certain things which we are supposed to. Okay, so that's why please improve the answer by writing your opinions in the comment box, so that even other people will also come to know how the answer can be written in the better manner. Thank you so much.